If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. I know God won't give me anything I can't handle. I just wish He didn't trust me so much. Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. God doesn't require us to succeed. He only requires that you try. Live simply so that others may simply live. Prayer is not asking. Prayer is putting oneself in the hands of God, at His disposition, and listening to His voice in the depth of our hearts. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things. Be faithful in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies. Being unwanted, unloved, uncared for, forgotten by everybody, I think that is a much greater hunger, a much greater poverty than the person who has nothing to eat. Do not think that love, in order to be genuine, has to be extraordinary. What we need is to love without getting tired. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. Children have very little time for their parents. Parents have very little time for each other. And in the home begins the disruption of peace of the world. Good works are links that form a chain of love. I am a little pencil in the hand of a writing God who is sending a love letter to the world. Be faithful in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies. I do not pray for success. I ask for faithfulness. I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only more love. I think I'm more difficult than critical. I try to give to the poor people for love what the rich could get for money. No, I wouldn't touch a leper for 1,000 pounds, yet I willingly cure him for the love of God. I want you to be concerned about your next-door neighbor. Do you know your next-door neighbor? If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. If we want a love message to be heard, it has got to be sent out. To keep a lamp burning, we have to keep putting oil in it. It is a kingly act to assist the fallen. Joy is a net of love by which you can catch souls. Mother Teresa. Intense love does not measure, it just gives. It is not the magnitude of our actions, but the amount of love that is put into them that matters. It is a poverty to decide that a child must die so that you may live as you wish. Joy is a net of love by which you can also catch souls. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. Let us not be satisfied with just giving money. Money is not enough. Money can be got, but they need their hearts to love them. So spread your love everywhere you go. Loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty. Let us touch the dying, the poor, the lonely, and the unwanted according to the graces we have received, and let us not be ashamed or slow to do the humble work. Love is a fruit in season at all times, and within reach of every hand. Our life of poverty is as necessary as the work itself. Only in heaven will we see how much we owe to the poor for helping us to love God better because of them. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Peace begins with a smile. I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said that I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. Each one of them is Jesus in disguise. There is more hunger in the world for love and appreciation in this world than for bread. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. Joy is prayer, joy is strength, joy is love. Joy is a net of love by which you can catch souls. One of the greatest diseases is to be nobody to anybody. Please choose the way of peace. In the short term, there may be winners and losers in this war that we all dread, but that never can or never will justify the suffering, pain, and loss of the life your weapons will cause. Even the rich are hungry for love, for being cared for being wanted, for having someone to call their own. We fear the future because we are wasting today. If you are humble, nothing will touch you, neither praise nor disgrace, because you know what you are. Do ordinary things with extraordinary love. Any country that accepts abortion is not teaching its people to love, but to use violence to get what they want. Words which do not give the light of Christ increase the darkness. When you don't have anything, then you have everything. Love begins by taking care of the closest ones, the ones at home. Be happy in the moment, that's enough. Each moment is all we need, not more. Profound joy of the heart is like a magnet that indicates the path of life. I prefer you to make mistakes in kindness than work miracles in unkindness. We do not need guns and bombs to bring peace. We need love and compassion. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. Life is a song. Sing it. Life is a struggle. Accept it. It is a poverty to decide that a child must die so that you may live as you wish. Life is an opportunity. Benefit from it. Life is a beauty. Admire it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Work without love is slavery. Spread the love of God through your life, but only use words when necessary. Jesus said, "Love one another." He didn't say love the whole world. Some people come into our lives as blessings, some come into your life as lessons. A life not lived for others is not a life. I want you to be concerned about your next-door neighbor. Do you know your next-door neighbor? Mother Teresa. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build it anyway. How can there be too many children? That is like saying there are too many flowers. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. If we really want to love, we must learn how to forgive. I fear just one thing: money. Greed was what motivated Judas to sell Jesus. Life is a challenge. We must take it. If you are discouraged, it is a sign of pride because it shows you trust in your own powers. It is only when you realize your nothingness, your emptiness, that God can fill you with Himself. Mother Teresa. I am only a pencil in the hand of God, but it is He who writes. The fruit of love is service, which is compassion in action. There is a light in this world, a healing spirit more powerful than any darkness we may encounter. I don't do great things, I do small things with great love. Sometimes a good feeling from inside is worth much more than a beautician. If we worry too much about ourselves, we won't have time for others. The less we have, the more we give. Seems absurd, but it's the logic of love. Let us smile at each other, for a smile is the beginning of love. The openness of our hearts and minds can be measured by how wide we draw the circle of what we call family. Mother Teresa. The fruit of faith is love, and the fruit of love is service. Spread love everywhere you go. The hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread. I go of my free choice with the blessing of obedience. Together, we can do great things. Poverty was not created by God. It is we who have caused it, you and I, through our egotism. We are not called to be successful, but faithful. Mother Teresa. The greatest mistake is to think that you are too strong to fall into temptation. Put your finger in the fire and it will burn. So we have to go through the fire. If we are humble, nothing will change us, neither praise nor discouragement. Do not allow yourself to be disheartened by any failure as long as you have done your best. At the moment of death, we will not be judged according to the number of good deeds we have done or by the diplomas we have received in our lifetime. We will be judged according to the love we have put into our work. A way of satisfying our brethren hunger is to share with them whatever we have to share with them until we ourselves feel what they feel. True love is love that causes us pain, that hurts, and yet brings us joy. That is why we must pray to God and ask Him to give us the courage to love. There are no great things, only small things with great love. Happy are those. Do not think that love, in order to be genuine, has to be extraordinary. What we need is to love without being tired. Let us more and more insist on raising funds of love, of kindness, of understanding, of peace. To work without love is slavery. God has not called me to be successful. He has called me to be faithful. Be kind and merciful. Let no one ever come to you without coming away better and happier. One of the realities we're all called to go through is to move from repulsion to compassion and from compassion to wonderment. We cannot give what we have not got. We need to realize that poverty doesn't only consist of being hungry for bread, but rather it is a tremendous hunger for human dignity. We need to love and to be someone for someone else. There is thing you can do, but I cannot. And there is things I can do, but you cannot. So let us make something beautiful for God. We interfere with God's plans when we push in someone or something else that is not suitable for us. Be strict with yourself, and then be very strict with what you are receiving from the outside. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. Mother Teresa. One filled with joy preaches without preaching. Life's a song. Sing it. I know I am touching the living body of Christ in the broken bodies of the hungry and the suffering. We must never be afraid to be a sign of contradiction for the world. You will never truly realize God is all you need until He becomes all you have. The problem with the world is that we draw the circle of our family too small. If now we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten how to see God in one another. The Lord likes small things best, especially those done with love. Not handouts, but rather hands held. We, the willing, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. Although she be but little, she is fierce. The more you have, the more you are occupied, the less you give. But the less you have, the more free you are. Poverty for us is freedom. It is not mortification, a penance. It is joyful freedom. There is no television here, no this, no that, but we are perfectly happy. Words that do not give the light of Christ increase the darkness. Cheerfulness is often a cloak which hides a life of sacrifice and a continual union with God. Peace begins with a smile. There is more hunger for love and appreciation in this world than for bread. Loneliness is the most terrible form of poverty. There is a poverty of intimacy, a poverty of spirit, of loneliness, of lack of love. There is no greater sickness in the world today than that one. The first step to becoming is to will it. We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty. In loving one another through our works, we bring an increase of grace and growth in divine love. Mother Teresa. Love begins at home, and it is not how much we do, but how much we love we put in the action that we do. Mother Teresa. The poor give us much more than we give them. They're such strong people, living day to day with no food, and they never curse, never complain. We don't have to give them pity or sympathy. We have so much to learn from them. Mother Teresa. True love is giving and giving until it hurts. Mother Teresa. Yes, you must live life beautifully and not allow the spirit of the world that makes gods out of power, riches, and pleasure make you forget that you have been created for greater things. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. Do extraordinary things with love. Be faithful in little things, for in them your strength lies. Never worry about numbers. Help one person at a time, and always start with the person nearest you. I never look at the masses as my responsibility. I look at the individual. I can love only one person at a time. I can feed only one person at a time. Just one. One. There are many people who can do big things, but there are a few people who will do the small things. You are greater than you know. Do not worry about why problems exist in the world. Just respond to people's needs. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin. The way you help heal the world is you start with your own family. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Doctors can heal the body, but it is music that uplifts the spirit. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. We are all pencils in the hands of God. Love demands sacrifice, but if we love until it hurts, God will give us His peace and joy. Suffering in itself is nothing, but suffering shared with Christ's passion is a wonderful gift. People are generally irrational, unreasonable, and selfish. They deserve to be loved anyway. And whatever you did to the least of my brethren, you did it to me. We must not be surprised when we hear of murders, killings, of wars, or of hatred. If a mother can kill her own child, what is left but for us to kill each other? I know God will not give me anything I can't handle. I just wish that He didn't trust me so much. Your true character is most accurately measured by how you treat those who can do nothing for you. Nothing makes you happier than when you really reach out in mercy to someone who is badly hurt. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. Do you want to do something beautiful for God? There is a person who needs you. This is your chance. Go out into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your presence light new light in the hearts of people. I embrace suffering even before it actually comes, and like this, Jesus and I live in love. Wherever you share love with others, you'll notice the peace that comes to you and to them. God speaks in the silence of the heart. I used to believe that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us, and we change things. I never get mixed up in what government should or should not do. Instead of spending time on those questions, I say, let me do something now. Never worry about numbers. Help one person at a time, and always start with the person nearest you. Life is a game. Play it. Life is too precious. Do not destroy it. The poor are great. The poor are wonderful. The poor are very generous. They give us much more than we give them. We must make our homes centers of compassion and forgive endlessly. Let us make one point that we meet each other with a smile when it is difficult to smile. Smile at each other. Make time for each other in your family. Never let anything so fill you with sorrow as to make you forget the joy of Christ risen. People are hungry for the word of God that will give peace, that will give unity, that will give joy. But you cannot give what you don't have. That's why it is necessary to deepen your life of prayer. The best way to succeed in life is to act on the advice we give to others. In order to keep the lamp burning, you have to keep putting oil in it. A beautiful death is for people who live like animals to die like angels, loved and wanted. You may be exhausted with work, you may even kill yourself, but unless your work is interwoven with love, it is useless. To work without love is slavery. Smiling novices, I can hear the music of your laughter, of joy. Learn, my children, to be holy, for true holiness consists of doing God's work with a smile. Before you speak, it is necessary for you to listen, for God speaks in the silence of the heart. We have to possess before we can give. If you give what you do not need, it is not giving. If I look at the mass, I will never act. If I look at the one, I will. When you have nothing left but God, you have more than enough to start over again. The first requirement for prayer is silence. People of prayer are people of silence. God is everywhere and in everything, and without Him, we cannot exist. To smile at God. Let us not use bombs and guns to overcome the world. Let us use love and compassion. Peace begins with a smile. When we come face to face with God, we are going to be judged on how much we loved. We are called to be contemplatives by seeking the face of God in everything, everyone, everywhere, all the time. We must never forget that we are bound towards perfection and should aim ceaselessly at it. Little things are indeed little, but to be faithful in little things is a great thing. Peace and war start within one's home. If we really want peace for the world, let us start by loving one another within our families. Sometimes it is hard for us to smile at one another. Be kind to each other. It is better to commit faults with gentleness than to work miracles with unkindness. God hasn't called us to be successful, just faithful. May God break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in. By our life of deeds of love, we are making the church fully present in the world today. He will use you to accomplish great things on the condition that you believe much more in His love than in your weakness. Humility is truth. Therefore, in all sincerity, we must be able to look up and say, I can do all things in Him who strengthens me. By yourself, you can do nothing, have nothing but sin, weakness and misery. All the gifts of nature and grace, you have them from God. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. One filled with joy preaches without preaching. One truly must have suffered oneself to help others. God gives us things to share. God doesn't give us things to hold. Faith is a gift from God, and He gives it to whomever He chooses. Life is beauty. Admire it. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. The most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. What can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family. Never travel faster than your guardian angel can fly. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. The biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted. We know only too well that what we are doing is nothing more than a drop in the ocean. But if the drop were not there, the ocean would be missing something. The simple path, silence is prayer. Prayer is faith. Faith is love. Love is service. The fruit of service is peace. I would rather make mistakes in kindness and compassion than work miracles in unkindness and hardness. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. Being unwanted, unloved, uncared for, forgotten by everybody, I think that is a much greater hunger, a much greater poverty than the person who has nothing to eat. To keep a lamp burning, we have to keep putting oil in it. If you don't take care of yourself, you will be sick. Mother Teresa. The greatest destroyer of peace is abortion. We shall never know all of the good that a simple smile can do. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We only have today. Let us begin. None of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. The miracle is not that we do this work, but that we are happy doing it. Loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty. I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only more love. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. The person who gives with a smile is the best giver because God loves a cheerful giver. Life becomes harder for us when we live for others. but it also becomes richer and happier. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin.